Not gonna lie, it's been a while since I've done one of these and it feels just a little bit awkward. Hey guys, it's Lauren. It's been forever since I've been on camera. I have done videos where you've heard my voiceover over the last 6 months, but I have not filmed a video with my face in like 6 months. And maybe I filmed a couple videos like after my baby was born where I got on camera, but then I just got into a phase where I just could not do it. So hi, I'm back and I'm just sitting in the Target parking lot. I just did a pickup and then I'm gonna go do my grocery pickup in a minute, and I'm actually gonna film a video, like a grocery haul of that pickup, because it's a very typical week for us. And I posted a video last week about our annual budget and there was a lot of discussion about our grocery budget. Some people were like, this is so reasonable, and other people were like, that is extremely excessive, because we budget $1,000 a month for groceries, which includes household items and takeout, but we rarely get takeout. So anyway, I am going to try to film that for you guys so you can see like, how do we spend $1,000 a month on groceries? Like, what does that look like for us? So anyway, yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys because the last 6 months has been really hard, and really the last year and a half has been really hard, and I just haven't known exactly what I wanted to say about everything, because, you know, I just, like, when you're going through something and you're processing it in real time, like, sometimes you don't even know what to say until you've had time to reflect afterwards. And now I feel like I've had a little bit of time to reflect. So basically, I'm great, I'm fine, but I definitely like lost myself over the last year, and really over the last 6 months since my second daughter was born. I've really lost myself, and even right now I feel very like uncomfortable in my own skin, and that's something I've struggled with forever, but it's been really magnified over the last like 6 months or so. And I don't know if this is like postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety or anything related to postpartum, or if it's sleep deprivation, or if it's just recovery from having a baby, or if it's all of those things or none of those things. Like, I just don't know at this point. But what I do know is that I feel like not myself. I haven't felt like myself for probably around the time I got pregnant till now. And I'm just starting to feel like myself a little bit more again. A couple things happened. One, being pregnant and postpartum is a very like overwhelming time. Your body's doing crazy hormonal stuff. And I have also been like in the trying to have babies, trying to get pregnant, trying to have babies mode for like 5 years, and that's coming to a close for me, and that is something I've had to process, because after this pregnancy and this postpartum period, I'm more confident than ever that 2 kids is what's right for our family. If circumstances were a little different, I can see myself being happy with more, but for us, like in this reality, 2 is where we're good. So, you know, after trying so hard for so long to get pregnant, then having to switch your mindset to no more babies, don't get pregnant, and in fact, never going to try to get pregnant again. It was a lot. It just felt like a lot. And I'm sure, if any of you have gone through having babies and then deciding to not have any more, you may be able to relate to that. Even if you didn't struggle to get pregnant, just, that mindset shift is overwhelming. And so that was one thing that's gone on. The other thing that's gone on is I started therapy. Okay, let me back up just a little bit. I've talked about this on my channel very openly. I struggled with drug addiction for a good portion of my young adulthood, and I have not done any drugs since, I think it's been like 9 years now. Just over 9 years. And at the time when I was in active addiction, I wasn't really wondering why I was making the decisions I was making. However, once I became a mom, I got very concerned as to why things progressed in my life the way they did, why I made the decisions I did, why I felt the need to do the drugs, the amount of drugs, the type of drugs, be in the type of environments that I was in that were extremely dangerous, extremely like scary looking back, being like, I was out of my mind to not be terrified to be around the people I was around and doing the things I was doing. So that's scary as a mom, to think of your own child making those decisions. So I really wanted to dig in to those things and figure out, why did I make those decisions, so I can parent in a way that gives my daughter the best chance of not feeling the need to make those same decisions. So I went to therapy when my daughter was like around 5 months old, which is the age my second daughter is right now. And I've been going for 3 years. It was almost exactly 3 years ago that I started therapy. And about a year ago, I had some really profound breakthroughs in therapy. And while that's a wonderful thing, and I now, as I sit here today, know exactly what happened, whereas before I had no idea what happened, which is just crazy to me. Like, I have no really new information. I just was able to unpack it. But as I sit here today, I know exactly what happened. And while knowing the truth is wonderful and brings you so much peace and brings you confidence and brings you all these wonderful things, it also brings sadness and like grief, trying to accept the things that you've known all along but haven't been able to look at or see or understand. And so through that process, my whole world got turned upside down, really. And I just have had a hard time dealing with it. And as it is, I already have like an anxiety disorder or something. I haven't been diagnosed, but I've had anxiety my entire life. And, you know, whether that's nature or nurture or whatever is a separate question. And I have a lot of thoughts on that I get into with my therapist and won't necessarily get into on my channel or in this video at least. But regardless, I have an issue with anxiety. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. So I have a grocery pickup, has to be picked up between 11 and 12. I left my house at 11. I was planning to do my Target pickup first. Both of these things are within 2 miles of my house, and I wanted to film this video for you guys. The amount of anxiety I felt when I was leaving my house to make sure that I was going to be able to do all these things and get to my grocery pickup by 12 when I had an entire hour to just do a Target pickup and like turn on my camera for 15 minutes. It's not normal or healthy to have that level of anxiety. And so I've been thinking for a long time and considering going on medication for a long time. And I think I am going to try it. And I've been hesitant because I've had a bad experience with medication when I was a teenager. And but I'm an adult now. My brain chemistry is different. It's been 20 years. And so I am looking into that option because I just feel like my body needs a little bit of help learning how to calm that like fight or flight response that I think is coming up in those moments for, whatever reason it's happening. And once I get practiced at it with a little bit of help, I'm hoping I can go off of the medication and my body will like have that muscle memory that I can figure out how to do it on my own. That's like my current plan, and my theory about medication. And if that doesn't work and I need to stay on it for a long period of time, like that's okay too. I'm open to whatever is going to make myself the best me and the happiest. Like, you only get one life. Why worry about like if you're on medication or not? Just do whatever's going to be best for you. But yeah, so that's something I'm looking into. However, I am also nursing and there's, not a ton of clear answers on this stuff, but in general, there are risks with taking medication and breastfeeding. So I am going to wait till I'm done nursing to get on it, but I do have I'm starting to work on finding a doctor or psychiatrist who I can set up an appointment with and start a discussion. So at the time when I'm ready to start taking it, I have like all that figured out, like what medication, what dosage, how it's going to start, like that whole thing. And I can just go. I don't have to wait for like 2 months for an appointment and stuff at that point. So that's my current plan. With breastfeeding, by the way, it's been really interesting because I nursed my first daughter for about 7 months. At about 4.5, 5 months, we had to start supplementing with formula because my supply really dropped. And I had gone back to my full-time job at 12 weeks, when she was 12 weeks old. So it was like a few weeks after that, my supply started dropping. And I didn't know if that's because that's what my body does, or I just wasn't around my baby enough to signal to my body that I needed to keep producing breast milk. And as it turns out, I think that's what it was. I wasn't around her enough. And with this baby so far, I have no supply issue because I'm around her all the time. And it's just kind of a sad statement on 12 weeks is not enough. And you really should be with your baby for longer after they're born, because look at that. My body wasn't able to keep up with nursing because I wasn't around my baby enough. And I think whatever you do to feed your baby, fed is best. I don't care, nursing, formula, whatever. We did a combination of both, for my first daughter. But there are health benefits to nursing for mom and baby, and I want to try to do it as long as I can, up until maybe between 9 months and a year, if that works for my mental health and my body is continuing to make it happen. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting that it wasn't a supply issue, a thing that my body didn't want to keep nursing. It's just that I wasn't around my baby enough for my body to figure out how to keep producing enough breast milk, and the pump isn't as efficient as nursing and all this stuff. Kind of jumping around a little bit here, but yeah, going back to it's been just really hard the past 6 months. And also, 2 kids, it's a lot. 1 baby was hard, I think just as hard as 2, because you're a new parent. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know, you just don't know anything. You're figuring everything out for the first time, and it's much more scary and overwhelming. The second time around, I had a lot more confidence, a lot more knowledge and experience, and so it was much easier. But then also you're managing 2 kids, so it's just as hard. And this baby has not been a good sleeper. I have not slept in 5 months, and just in the past couple weeks she started to sleep a little bit better. She still wakes up 2 to 3 times a night. Last night she woke up at midnight to nurse, and then she woke up at 3 and wouldn't go back down till 4:30, but then she slept till 6. So, it's not perfect, but at least I'm getting usually at least 1 4 to 5 hour stretch in the night, and then usually another 3-hour stretch. So I'm getting maybe 7 hours, but it's just broken up into 2 or 3 segments. So it's not great, but it's much better than it was when she was waking up 5, 6 times a night for a long time. That wears on your mental health. And then also our situation, and a lot of you probably can relate to this, we don't have a big support network for our family. We don't have a huge support system. And so that's really hard, because you don't get breaks if you don't have a huge support system or a support system, and you need breaks. And so anytime I take a break, my husband is watching the girls. And anytime he takes a break, I'm watching the girls, which is not really a break. Last night, actually, we both stayed up after the girls went to bed and sat and talked for 2 hours. And that's the first time that's happened since my baby was born, that the girls are asleep and we're awake, interacting. And that's hard on your marriage too. It's just it's a very hard time, as cute and wonderful and beautiful as it is. And I just feel so lucky that I have 2 healthy kids. That's all I care about, is that they're healthy, and both of them are very healthy, even though we've gone through some health stuff with colds and flu and all this stuff in the past few months that is going around. They are very healthy, but not having the breaks is hard. And so part of why I've continued to post, even when I've been really tired and not wanting to film and not wanting to edit and get videos up, is you guys are a community for me. And that's how I started doing YouTube, when I was going through infertility, and then I started sharing videos about our debt-free journey, and you guys are a community for me. And so I really didn't want to give that up, as much as I kept thinking to myself, I just got to tell them I'm taking a month off, or I'm taking 3 months off, or whatever, and just not touch it at all. I kept just not really doing that and just posting as often as I could, because I didn't want to give it up, because you guys are such a great support system. And I just feel a lot of you can relate to the things that I'm going through, and we chat in the comments, or you guys DM me on Instagram, and it's just really nice to connect with other people in like your general age range about things you're going through. And I don't have a lot of that in my real life. I do have a few people, and I'm so grateful for the people that I do have in my life, but it's not what I want to grow it to be. I need more friends, and like friends that are here locally that I can like actually spend time with and like see in person, because I have some friends that are like local but not close by, and then other friends that are like not even in the same state as me, and it's just not the same as like having somebody who like lives in the next neighborhood that you can just like pop by and get together. And so I need a better network of local friends, and preferably like families that have kids in the same age range, because you can relate to what's going on with the kids and connect about like the struggles of parenthood and motherhood, and that would be really wonderful to have. So yeah, that's what's been going on. I really hope and plan to be getting back to more of my regular type style videos where I'm actually coming on camera a little more regularly and talking to you guys about more than just my spreadsheets, because that's really all I've been updating you on, is like our own numbers on our spreadsheets. I have a bunch of video ideas written out, and it's just all waiting there. I also posted this on Instagram a while ago that I want to start a new series on my channel that I think I'm going to call Big Sis Chats. Even if you're older than me, like we can pretend I'm your big sis, and you guys can like ask questions or throw out topics that you'd want me to chat about. And so I threw that idea out on Instagram, and everybody like was obsessed with the idea. I did a poll. So I just wanted to let you guys know, in case you don't follow me on Instagram, which you should, and I'll put my Instagram down here. But if you don't follow me on Instagram and you're comfortable putting a topic in the comments of something you'd like me to talk about, it can be personal finance related, it could be life related, it could be whatever, any topic you'd be interested in me talking about. Let me actually pull up. I had written down all the ones you guys had said. So some of the topics are like how to stop cheating on yourself with spending more money than you have, feeling pressured by friends to upgrade your lifestyle, just in general talking about shame and doubt and like fears in life, or in particular when you're talking about like getting started with your debt-free journey or just your finances in general. The relationship between finances and trauma. So these are a lot of financial related ones, but there's also questions about like going through depression during addiction, and overcoming depression and anxiety, which like it's funny because I was thinking to myself over the past few months, like I'm such a fraud. Like how can I talk about overcoming addiction, depression, anxiety? Well, I can talk about overcoming addiction, but how can I talk about overcoming depression and anxiety when like I struggle with anxiety still? And then it's like, no. Like nobody fully gets rid of these things. Like you never really solve this forever. You never get rid of anxiety forever. It's not something that like resolves and you're done and you move on, like a wound that heals. Like it always will be part of you. And everyone has some level of anxiety that they struggle with. And it's about getting it managed and getting better at figuring out how to live with it and like work on it so it improves. And so in that sense, I have done a ton of work on myself, and I have a ton of like great advice in that area. So I'm trying to not have that like imposter syndrome thing. I've had such bad imposter syndrome. I could make a video about that, imposter syndrome. That's a great one. When I was an attorney, felt like a total imposter. When I like was an addict, felt like a total imposter. Had people telling me I didn't look like an addict, I didn't seem like an addict. When I quit my job to be a mom, felt like an imposter. Oh, I can't do this. I can't be a stay-at-home mom. Like people like me don't be a stay-at-home mom. And just all this head trash about stuff with imposter syndrome. So comment below if you want me to make a video about imposter syndrome and overcoming imposter syndrome. So that's kind of like the idea behind the series, where like I make videos and each video picks one topic that you guys want me to talk more about. And I just kind of like go through my thoughts and the things that I've done in my own life to work on that particular issue. So comment below if you have a topic that you want me to include in that series. It's going to be an ongoing thing. So at any point in any of my videos, if you think of something and you want to comment, hey, for the Big Sis Chat series, can you talk about this? And I'll add it to my list that's quite long already, but I'll just keep working through them. If you guys like it, we'll keep doing those. And yeah, I feel good about it because the reason this came up, actually, just to like give you the background, is there's all this like drama going on with the student loans and the pause and this and that. And I just thought about like, oh, do I need to make a video updating on like the details of what's going on with this? And then I was just like, you know, I don't want to be a news channel. Like, there's plenty of other channels that they want to keep up with the details of what's going on in every little twist and turn of the student loan news and all that type of stuff. And while student loans are a big part of my channel, like paying off my student loans and my husband's student loans, like I don't want to be having to follow all the details. Like, that reminds me of more what I did as a lawyer, where I'm reading through like detailed, complicated stuff and like summarizing it and presenting it. And that's just not, like, I think it's great. We need people to do that, but that's just not what I want to be doing on my channel. And so it gave me the idea of like, what do I want to do besides just talk about my own debt-free journey and talk about budgeting and personal finance, which are all great topics that I want to keep talking about. But like, what else? I felt like there was like a piece missing. And also because I'm not going to be making trying to conceive, pregnancy, like motherhood type content. I mean, I never have made like really motherhood content, but pregnancy or trying to conceive, I'm not going to be making those videos anymore. And so I felt like there was another like kind of dimension of my channel that I wanted to explore and see like what it's going to be going forward. So that's that. Today I'm feeling pretty good. I got okay sleep last night. I think after going through having a baby, even when you start getting sleep, it takes a while still to start feeling like yourself. And just because you have a backlog of sleep deprivation that you need to catch up on. We're working on that. We're working on being kind to ourselves, working on trying to find time for self-care, which has been non-existent, but is slowly happening. I exercised a couple times in the past few weeks, which is great. I have a treadmill in our basement, and so I've hopped on that, even though it's been freezing outside. Don't really like taking walks out in the cold. Like, that's not my vibe. But I have my treadmill, and I've been doing stretching and stuff. And I want to get back into all my routines with the gratitude journaling and my affirmations and all the things that I know make me feel good. So I just haven't had a free second to do it. Like, barely can find time to take a shower. But now it's starting to settle in. Now that baby's like 5.5 months old, it's feeling a little bit more like, okay, I think we're through like this newborn phase. And of course there'll be challenges and new things to face. Everything's a phase with a kid, and they're hard in different ways, but I feel like we're kind of getting to the point where things are settling down more. So, all right. It's 11:42. I need to go get my groceries. Starting to feel that anxiety creep in. The number one thing, I'll just tell you guys, the number one thing that I've learned in therapy that I think is so powerful is you need to pay attention to your body, because your body will tell you things that your mind can't figure out. So like my body, like right now, my body, I feel like tight in my chest and like kind of like butterflies in my stomach. And like, that's how I know I'm having anxiety. If I just listen to my mind and I'm like, oh, I'm anxious, then my mind will start trying to figure stuff out. But if I listen to my body, like I can be like, okay, my body's feeling these things. What can I do to calm my body? Because there's nothing to figure out right now. There's nothing to figure out. There's no problem that needs to be solved. But my mind is telling me there's a problem. You need to think right now. You need to think about a problem to solve, because the anxiety means there's a problem to be solved. But if you just listen to your body and realize, no, you're having a body response right now, and if you calm the body, then your mind will calm and your mind will stop trying to figure something out that doesn't need to be solved, then everything like falls into place more. So that's what I'm going to try to do right now. I'm listening. I feel in my body that I'm feeling anxious. I'm just going to try to take deep breaths and drink some water and like stop filming and just go get my groceries and just try to calm my body. And that's what I think medication will help with, because it's that body response that I think is causing the, like I've come to the conclusion that it's the body response that's causing my mind to have trouble dealing. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Glad to be back. Lovely to see you. Hope you guys are enjoying the holiday season, that everybody's happy and as healthy as possible with all these sicknesses going around. And I will talk to you guys soon in the next one. Bye.